It's never too early to start saving and planning for college, and anyone in your life can help when it comes to a 529 plan. Don Gee explained how it works.
A 529 plan is a specialized investment account that's designed specifically for families that are saving for education.
You just have to be a U.S. resident over the age of 18.
It offers tax advantages that give you benefits over saving any other way.
529 college savings plans let you prepay all or part of the cost for any accredited college, university, community college, technical school, graduate school, or Department of Labor apprenticeship program. Anyone can start a 529 savings plan for you. You can even start one for yourself.
Most commonly, parents open them for their children. Probably the next biggest group are grandparents opening them for their grandchildren.
49 states and the District of Columbia each offer at least one 529 plan. Wyoming is the only state without a plan.
You can look and see what's offered by your state. You can also look to see if you have any special benefit in opening your own state's plan.
Like possible tax benefits for a deduction or credit on your state income tax contributions that you make.
So if your state doesn't offer any kind of special benefit, then you could also look around and see what else is out there.
You can look at whatever states have to offer and pick your 529 plan from almost anywhere in the nation. Just pay attention to each state's regulations. Some states require you to be a resident to use their 529 plans, but most do not.
You can live in Kentucky, open a plan in New York, send your child to school in California.
As you put money aside with your 529 college savings plan, the funds in your account accumulate tax-free.
So it grows tax deferred, and you can take the money out tax-free as long as the money is being spent on qualified education expenses.
Tuition, room, board, books, supplies, those are some expenses that qualify. If you withdraw funds for a non-qualified expense, the earnings portion of the withdrawal will incur income taxes on the earnings portion of the allocation and an additional 10% penalty on those earnings.
The withdrawals that you make need to match qualified expenses in the calendar year.
Here's an interesting and important piece of information for anyone who sets up a 529 plan. You can change the chosen beneficiary. Changing who you give the money to is totally up to the person who sets up that account. Things change, and so can the beneficiary. There are some limitations, but if your child or your grandchild, whoever, does not go to college, you can give that money to anyone, including yourself, for continuing education, helping you make ends meet. I'm Dawn Gee.
If you don't use it for education at all, then you've got to pay taxes and penalties on the withdrawal of the money you've saved.